My best friend kept accidentally liking my boyfriend's old photos until I found their years-long secret relationship in his archived messages. Jenna and I had been best friends since middle school, the kind of friendship where we told each other everything, or so I always believed. When I started dating Marcus about 2 years ago, Jenna seemed genuinely happy for me, supportive through every step of our relationship, always ready to listen whenever I needed to vent about normal relationship stuff. The first odd moment happened around 6 months in, when I noticed Jenna had liked a photo of Marcus from years before we even met, buried deep in his profile from a trip he'd taken with friends. She laughed it off when I mentioned it, saying she'd been bored scrolling and accidentally tapped it while looking through old mutual photos. It happened again a few weeks later. Another old photo, another casual explanation about accidental double taps while scrolling quickly.
I didn't think much of it at the time. These things happen constantly with how social media works. Tiny thumbs slipping on tiny screens. Over the following months, I noticed small things that felt slightly off without fully connecting them. Jenna knew random details about Marcus's past that felt oddly specific for someone who'd only met him through me. An old nickname his college friends used. A specific coffee order he'd apparently had years before I knew him.
When I mentioned these details to Marcus, he brushed them off vaguely, saying maybe I'd mentioned them to her myself without remembering. I accepted that explanation for longer than I probably should have, trusting both people closest to me completely. The real shift happened when Marcus upgraded his phone and asked me to help transfer some old photos and messages to his new device while he was busy at work one afternoon. While going through an old backup file, I noticed an archived message thread hidden away in a folder labeled simply with initials rather than a full name. Curiosity got the better of me, and I opened it, expecting probably nothing significant. Instead, I found years of messages between Marcus and Jenna, starting nearly a year before Marcus and I had even started dating, continuing steadily throughout our entire relationship, tucked away and archived specifically to avoid appearing in his regular message list. The messages weren't just friendly, they were intimate, affectionate in a way that made it immediately clear this wasn't simple friendship overlap between my boyfriend and best friend. There were conversations about meeting up when I wasn't around, careful discussions about keeping things hidden from me specifically, using phrases that made it obvious both of them understood exactly what they were doing. I sat with those messages for what felt like hours, rereading dates and details, watching 2 years of what I thought was genuine trust and friendship completely unravel in front of me. Through a folder neither of them ever expected me to find. I didn't confront either of them separately. I invited them both over the same evening under the pretense of a normal dinner, then simply placed my phone on the table with the messages already open, screenshots saved in case either tried deleting anything afterward. The silence in that room was heavier than any argument could have been. Neither of them tried denying it once they saw the messages laid out clearly between us. Jenna admitted it had started as innocent flirtation before our relationship even began, something neither of them had bothered mentioning once Marcus and I actually got together, and it simply continued quietly in the background the entire time. I told them both calmly that I didn't need further explanation, and that I needed them to leave immediately. I blocked both of their numbers that same night, removing every trace of either of them from my daily life without further conversation. It's been 8 months since that dinner. I've rebuilt my friend group from scratch, more carefully this time, understanding now that trust isn't something to hand out freely just because someone's been in your life for years. Sometimes the people closest to you are exactly the ones capable of hurting you the most quietly, for the longest time, without you ever noticing, until the folder finally gets opened.